Okay, so when you think of the original NBA teams, you probably think of the Knicks, maybe the Celtics, right? But what if I told you one of the founding 11 franchises has pretty much been wiped from the history books? Well, today we are digging up the wild and honestly super weird story of the Providence Steamrollers.
So let's go back to 1946. You gotta remember, this is before the NBA was even called the NBA. It was the Basketball Association of America, the BAA. And right there from the jump, one of the original 11 teams was the Steamrollers, based out of Providence, Rhode Island, ready to make a splash in this brand new league.
I mean, if they were there on day one, side by side with the pioneers of the league, why are they just gone? Why are they just a trivia question now? Well, the answer is, let's just say it's a bit of a bumpy ride.
To really get why they vanished, we have to talk about how they played on the court. And to put it nicely, it was not great. Their entire run lasted just 3 seasons, and man, they set records for all the wrong reasons.
So check this out. That first season, 46-47, not too shabby. 28 wins, you can build on that, right? But then, oh boy, look at that next year. The bottom just completely falls out. The wins just evaporate, and that third season isn't much of a comeback. It was a total nosedive.
And this is the number you really need to see. 6, that's it. In that absolute disaster of a 47-48 season, the Steamrollers won a grand total of 6 games. I mean, that's not just a bad season, that's historically awful. It's a performance that literally cemented their place in the record books forever. And just to put that in perspective for you, that record of only 6 wins in a season, it still stands today as the fewest ever in the NBA. Now, you might be thinking about the 2012 Charlotte Bobcats, and you're right, they had a worse winning percentage, but that was in a lockout-shortened season. In terms of just pure, raw lack of wins, nobody has ever been worse than the 48 Steamrollers.
But here's the crazy part. This is where the story gets really interesting. A legacy of just being bad isn't their only legacy. For a team that failed so hard on the court, they are wrapped up in some of the most unique, most bizarre stories in all of NBA history. It's like their failure created all this incredible trivia.
For example, get this. During that horrific 6-win season, things were so bad, the team was so desperate that the head coach, Nat Hickey, decided he had to do something. So what does he do? He activates himself as a player and subs into the game. And here's the kicker. Nat Hickey was 45 years old. He played his last game just 2 days shy of his 46th birthday. That set a record for the oldest player in league history that has never, ever been broken. Not by Vince Carter, not by anyone. It's a record born out of pure desperation.
And the weird firsts don't stop there. You know how the NBA on Christmas Day is this huge deal now? It's like the biggest day of the regular season. Well, guess who played in the very first one? Yep, December 25th, 1947, it was the Providence Steamrollers versus the New York Knicks. They kicked off a tradition that's become a cornerstone of the modern NBA.
And you know, it's important to remember they weren't just a bunch of guys who couldn't play. I mean, look at this. In their very first year, Ernie Calverley led the whole league in assists. They had the tallest player in the BAA, George Nostrin. Kenny Sailors was their top scorer for 2 years. And in their final season, they had the best rookie in the league, Howie Shannon. So there was real talent there, buried under all those losses. So if they had these moments of talent and all these weird historical footnotes, what was the final nail in the coffin? Well, it all came down to a massive change in the world of pro basketball, the merger between the BAA and its rival league, the National Basketball League.
So in 1949, when these two leagues decided to stop competing and join forces to create what we now know as the NBA, not everybody got a ticket to the party. The new league wanted to trim the fat, get rid of unstable teams. And with their terrible record and low attendance, the Providence Steamrollers were, sadly, an easy cut. The franchise folded, its players got bought out by the Boston Celtics, and that was that.
But wait, because the story has one more absolutely bonkers chapter. You think folding in 1949 is the end of the story, right? Nope. The ghost of the Providence Steamrollers came back to haunt the NBA decades later. Okay, so fast forward 30 years to 1980. This entrepreneur, a guy named Skip Chernov, he goes out and buys the rights to the old, defunct team. Then he sues the NBA, arguing that he has the legal right to bring the franchise back from the dead. He even demanded the #1 pick in that year's draft. I mean, what a move. But as you can probably guess, the court sided with the NBA, and the Steamrollers stayed a ghost. So when you look back, the Providence Steamrollers were so much more than just a bad basketball team. They were the last major league team from Rhode Island. They hold unbreakable records for both being awful and for a player's age. And they completely accidentally started one of the league's biggest traditions. Their legacy is just this amazing collection of historical oddities.
And you know, their story is just a great reminder that for every famous dynasty we all know about, there are dozens of teams like the Steamrollers out there with these incredible, weird, forgotten stories. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing histories are just sitting there, waiting for someone to find them?